All right, happy Friday, everybody. I am going to go through the assignment for today. It is a worksheet on practicing context clues. We're going to be reading some Shakespeare, and then we're going to be answering some questions at the bottom. So I'm going to walk you through the reading, make sure we understand kind of what it's talking about. I'm going to do some inferencing to help you understand it, and then you're going to answer questions 1 through 12. All right, so this says, William Shakespeare's English is often difficult in the beginning for modern readers to understand. Below is a passage from Shakespeare's play, As You Like It. Read the passage and pay special attention to the underlined words. Okay, so this is from the play As You Like It. It's going to be in Act 2, Scene 7, and this first quote right here is really famous if you follow Shakespeare in any way at all. So I'm going to read the text to you, and we're going to talk about it and what it means. All right, so it starts, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. All right, so basically what this means is he's comparing life and the world to a stage. Okay, so a performance. And he says that all men and women are merely players or actors. Okay, so he's saying that this life is a play and people have their parts in their own lives. Okay, and then he says there's 7 parts that they play in that. So while we're reading, we're going to be looking for what are those 7 ages. Okay, and that'll help us better understand the text that's in there if we can focus on that. So I'm going to read through it, and I'll make sure to point out what those different ages are based off some inferencing. All right, at first the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. So that's going to be our first age is a infant. Okay, so anything that has to in that section is going to have to do with being a baby. All right, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwilling to school. All right, so our next one says schoolboy, and using what I know, that's going to be a school-age student, right? Someone about your age or younger. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. All right, so that's going to be number 3, and that's going to be when someone falls in love. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden with quick and quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. All right, so again, that's going to be soldier next, which would have been really common at the time for someone to go off and be a soldier. So that's going to be kind of, if you think about it, like a young adult, an early career kind of along those lines. And then the justice in fair round belly with good capon lines, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. So that's going to be our 5th one. Okay, and based off of what I know about these words and what they mean, that's going to put you about middle age. So after, which makes sense, you've got your early career, and then you're kind of settled into life and some things start changing. All right, the 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. With spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble. Pipes and whistles in his sound. Okay, so using the information in here, he gives a lot of really good information. So we've got things like with spectacles, right? And a couple other things talking about turning again, right? So that's going to be later age, like grandparents, they're older, right? So that's going to be a little bit later in life. Okay, so it starts talking about kind of how the body starts to wear down. And then we've got our last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. So that's going to be our 7th and final one, right? That's going to be the end of a life. Okay, knowing that information, that should help you figure out what these words mean, because you can think, okay, well, I know this section is going to be about a baby, so most terms better match a baby. Or if it's this one, the end of a life, then those are going to be a little bit different than maybe right at the beginning. So we want to make sure we use that to help us pick out those connotations or those feelings of those words. All right, so let's do number 1 together. Number 1 says muling. Okay, so if I look back up at my text, I can see that's with the infant one. So we're thinking like really young. What is that going to look like? So at first, the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. So I need to make sure I read all 4 of my options before I pick my answer. So A is sleeping, B is reading, C is talking, and D is crying. So one good way to do that is to plug in my answer. So at first, the infant sleeping and puking in the nurse's arms. Okay, that's a maybe. At first, the infant reading and puking in the nurse's arms. Babies aren't going to be reading, so I'm going to cross that one off. Okay, next one is talking. At first, the infant talking and puking in the nurse's arms. Again, that's probably not the correct option. And then last one, at first, the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Oh, sorry. Crying and puking in the nurse's arms. So that one is also a good choice. Based off of this idea of puking, so what comes after it, I am definitely going to pick crying, and that is the correct answer. That's what mewling means. So again, if I plug that back in, it should make sense in this sentence. All right, you need to be doing 2 through 12.